crazy about stories. Long ago, there was a woman who was crazy about listening stories. She wanted to listen to stories all the time. Regarding her marriage, she laid down a condition. I will marry a man who is prepared to tell me stories every time. After hearing this strange condition, no man came forward to marry her. But at last, a man took up the challenge. He accepted the woman's condition and married her. The man now began to tell stories to his wife. He told her stories about kings and queens, animals, birds, story from distant land. There was no end to the series of stories. Once, on a chilly winter night, a stranger knocked to their door. When the husband opened the door, the stranger said, "Sir, I'm a traveler. It is very cold outside. Will you please give me shelter for the night?" The husband said, "You will be given shelter only if you can constantly tell stories to my wife." The stranger agreed. He entered the house and met the woman who was crazy about stories. He said, "Well, I can tell you stories constantly, but on one condition." "What is the condition?" asked the woman. "You will not interrupt me when I'm telling you a story," replied the stranger. The woman said, "Why should I interrupt you? And if I interrupt you, I promise I will never listen to any story all throughout my life." The woman prepared some delicious dishes for the dinner and served them to the stranger. After dinner, the stranger began his first story. Once there was a well in the forest. There was a tree near the well. An old owl lived on that tree. The owl was thirsty. He flew down to the well and quenched his thirst. He fell down to the well and quenched his thirst. He fell down to the well and quenched his thirst. He fell down to the quench his thirst. He fell down the well and the stranger kept on repeating the same sentence many times while telling the story to the women. The woman was tired of listening the same words again and again. Finally, she lost her patience and said, "He flew down the well and quenched his thirst. What kind of story is this you're telling me?" The stranger said, "It is a very important part of my story, but you have failed to fulfill my condition. You have interrupted me. Now, I will not continue the story. You will never come to know what happened to the owl after he had quenched his thirst." The woman, who was crazy about stories, kept her promise that she will never listen to any story all throughout her life. Her husband was now relieved from the boring job of telling stories. So, the moral lesson we get from this story is, sometimes interrupting can get us a great loss.